So Benedict, great to have you here at Ideal Up 2025. What is your first impression? Has anything in particular inspired you so far? Anything cool you've seen?
I've just came here a couple of minutes ago, so I haven't seen that much. But I've seen a lot of very motivated young students and young people, and I think that's great. I've been here 2 years ago, and I enjoyed it quite a lot because there were just so many motivated people. Also, after my panel, lots of motivated people that want to start a company, that are sort of interested in doing something, and I think that's great to bring those people together.
Speaking of that, like what parallels are you seeing between those maybe founders which are in the first steps, or probably like hopefully someday founders, and yourself back then when you started Knowunity?
I think quite a few. I think the excitement, the curiosity is definitely something we also had back then. I think we were also very excited to meet a lot of people, to just hear from others how they've been doing it, other people that are a few steps ahead. We back then didn't have WHU in that sense, which I think is great. Because we started in high school, so we didn't have that much of a network at those types of events. We went to one startup teens event where we also met as co-founders. But I think that curiosity and that excitement to sort of hear how others build their companies, how they did certain things, I think that's very, very relatable. And we try to support quite a lot there. We try to either chat a lot with people, obviously, and we also try to hire quite a few of them and basically give them sort of the first steps at Knowunity and then send them out to start their own company afterwards.
Yeah, why did you start Knowunity? Was there any personal motivation behind that, or
yes,
reason?
Yeah, quite a bit. So I mean, I had a lot of entrepreneurial ideas since I was 12 or 13 and found it always very exciting and very cool. And then, sold shitty e-bikes and whatever, and tried a lot of things there. But then Knowunity sort of came about when we were just about to graduate high school, A-levels in Germany, and we just said, hey, there's TikTok, there's Instagram, there's Snapchat, but there wasn't really a cool app for learning. There wasn't really a cool learning companion. And that's sort of what missed for us. And then we started building it ourselves. Initially started with the idea that very good students would upload study notes. And that then further developed into more and more of a full-on learning companion to basically accompany a student throughout their full journey. And started that in Germany and now is active in 22 markets. But it's been quite a bit of a ride the last couple of years.
And it works. I use it for my A-levels.
Perfect. That's great to hear. That's actually the coolest thing. I kind of forgot to mention it. Every person I so far met here used Knowunity. At least they tell me they did. I mean, maybe there's also
it saved me.
But some people knew some details, so that was great. So that was cool to see, because that's essentially why we built it. I think those moments are always the most exciting ones, when you sort of see people that use the product themselves. That's cool. Yes.
See what you've built.
Yes, that's nice to see. Yes.
You were really young when you started Knowunity. Maybe what challenges did you encounter when you just started as a student entrepreneur? And maybe what would you think Germany needs to change that more young people can actually start their own business and it's easier for them?
I mean, I think we started at 17, so quite early. I think we had the typical challenges regulation that probably a lot of companies face when they start. You don't really know what type of entity you sort of register. You need to apply for all the different numbers. You need tax ID. You need all different types of other bureaucratic setups and steps. And I think that just takes time. I think it's doable if you want to push through, but it's definitely something where you spend quite a bit of time in the early days, which should rather be spent on users, customers, speaking to them, building a product, selling, whatever. And I think that is something which hopefully will change with either Startup in 24 Hours, which is an initiative currently also from the German Startup Association, or even more so from with the EU Inc., which sort of has the idea to make it easier for companies to incorporate, to sort of set one standard legal entity across all of the Europe, and just make it way less effort and hassle of all the bureaucratic issues and steps that you sort of need to take. And I think that's something that we would very much welcome, because I think that just helps a lot of people, especially in young age, that don't know a lot about the bureaucratic jungle, so to say, to start a company and get it going.
Yeah, I like that would be your maybe personal thing to like, if you could change one rule in Germany or one law, is it that one? Or like when it comes to business?
I think when it comes to that, I think that's definitely a very useful one. I think making it easier for companies to incorporate, to sort of have one area or one register where everything from your company, every company data is stored, where basically then you can work with all the banks, with other third parties, with notaries, etc. You don't need to send all the data back and forth all the time. Just something that costs a lot of time. It isn't really value generating. So that would be a large thing. I think there's also other things we'd love to change to make it more beneficial for startups, easier for foreign talent to come into Germany to work here, easier visa application processes and faster ones. think more capital in later stages. But I think the whole idea of less regulation for startups getting founded in Europe is definitely a pretty critical one.
Yeah, we just talked about the students here, which have a lot of founder energy. If you think back at yourself when you started Knowunity, is there one advice you would love to have when you were that young that maybe would have helped you, or anything you could you want to say to the students who want to found maybe?
I think we made a lot of mistakes. I think that's also sort of good to just notice it, that you'll definitely make a lot of mistakes throughout the journey. Important thing is just that you're quick and that you act upon it in that sense. And I think that was always our mantra from day one, that we always said, hey, let's try to be very fast, let's try to learn a lot, and then we sort of figure out what works and what doesn't work. So I think sort of just the importance of speed and urgency when you start a company is pretty critical, because momentum and speed is just core. It's your asset that you have. I think that's one thing. And the other thing is just the importance of team or co-founders of, let's say, early team. I think we have a great co-founding team. We're 4 co-founders now. Other ones more on the technical side. I think that works out great. But we also had different setups that didn't work out that great. And we especially also experienced how important it is to hire the right people in the first place when you sort of get to that step when you need people and when you need employees, and sort of how to choose the right people that have the same cultural ambition as you would want to push forward. I think that's just crucial and something we probably underestimated in the first couple of years.
To wrap things up, Benedict, we would end with the quick 3 questions. So I will ask you 3 questions and you will just answer short and sharp in 1 sentence, okay?
Yes,
are you ready?
Yes, I'll try.
An app you can't live without, obviously without except Knowunity.
Slack.
The biggest misconception people have about you being a young founder.
I think it's a misconception that young founders can't build something big. I think that is sort of changing quickly with a lot of young founders coming up. I don't think that there's that many other large misconceptions, but I think, yes, that idea of young founders not having experience, and experience matters so much, I don't believe in that. I think in some areas, but when building a company, I don't think experience is that critical.
And describe IdeaLab or your perception of IdeaLab in 3 words.
I think quite energizing. Great people, let's put it as 1 word. For energizing, great people. And I think just a lot of founder mentality, and I think that's great to see.
Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you.